And I want to share with you 3 stories that shaped my recovery as it is today. We've all got some pretty amazing stories, so here are 3 of mine. The first one's my first ever rock bottom, the one almost took me out for good. The second one is going to be when my plug got shot, and the third one is my final rock bottom where everything seemed to come together. So here we go. October 31st, 2006, I was at work, and I was working as a sales guy for a computer company, and I was thousands of dollars in debt. I was way behind in my work. I was making promises I just couldn't keep. I was a yes man back at the time, so work was piling up on me. I had cut off my family just because I was ignoring them. I was so deep into my crack addiction and my alcoholism. I saw no way out. And I had this thought while I was at work, almost out of nowhere, and I thought to myself, if I end it tonight, I won't have to do this stuff tomorrow. And if you've ever had a thought like that and even considered it, you might relate to the feeling of relief that I had at that moment, just realizing that, hey, if I do this, I don't have to exist like this tomorrow. It's a scary, scary thought, but it was real. So I thought, shit, I'm not going to be around tomorrow. I can take off work early, which I did. I went over to Best Buy. I had this credit card, which I hadn't used. I'd forgotten about it. It had a $1,000 limit on it. I went and bought 2 iPods. Yes, iPods, I said, back in the day. I told the person, I'm making up a story as to why I'm buying 2 iPods. I said, well, I'm having a contest at work. I want to give these things away, so I'm buying 2 of them. I bought them, and then I went next door to the pawn shop, and I sold them for I think $125 each. So now I've got cash in my hands. What I did that night is I arranged to meet some friends for a couple of drinks as kind of my wimpy way to kind of say goodbye to them without actually telling them goodbye. And I did that, had a couple of drinks, and then I went back downtown and I found someone to sell me some crack. Her name was Charlie. She's actually a lovely person. I hope she's still around today. I have no idea what she's up to. But her and I used for a couple of hours together at some random apartment until I was out of money. And so I said to her, I have this idea because I have no money in the bank. I said, look, give me a 50 piece and then you and I'll drive to the ATM and I'll pay you for it then. She said, no problem. Gives me the piece, and then she goes into the washroom. Of course, I got the hell out of there because I had no money to pay for it, and I took off. My plan after that was to drive to a parking lot I knew, which would lead me. I could walk down the hill and sit in front of the river, use what I had, and then finish myself off. See, I had this Swiss Army knife with me that my dad gave me for my birthday 100 years ago. I still have the knife. It's got to be 30 years old by now, and that's what I was going to do. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning now, so I've made it to the bottom of the hill. I'm using the piece that I had of smoking it. I gave myself a little test cut on my hand to make sure the knife was sharp enough, and it was, so I'm bleeding a little bit right now. And what happened was I dropped my last piece in the grass, and it's dark, and I'm trying to find it, and the cell phones we had back then didn't have flashlights in them, so I'm searching around. Now I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, I gotta have this last hit before I go. There's no way I'm not doing this. I couldn't find it. I sat there for a couple of hours looking for it, contemplating my life. The sun started coming up. I made the decision to call my buddy Alex, who I knew was looking for me, as well as my family, because I had completely gone missing. Instead of doing what I was going to do, I actually called him. He said, come over right away. So I went to his place about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I sat and I talked with him for a while. We got in contact with my family. And what happened that day, instead of me ending everything, I actually got into the first detox I'd ever been to, and that was the first time I was ever introduced to recovery. And I wish I could say it, and I've been clean ever since, but that's just not the case. That was 2006. I didn't get clean until 2011. So there's a lot that happens in between, but that was my first taste of recovery. See, I didn't know what addiction was all about at that point, though. All I thought I needed was the honest desire to stop, which I did. My life was completely garbage. Of course I wanted to stop. I went to detox for a week. I went to rehab for 21 days. I got out. I got a 30-day chip, and I relapsed on day 31. The reason that story is so important to me and why I still remember it like it was yesterday, I can still visualize it, is that I came so close to not being here today. And I know so many people don't give it a second thought. They just go through with it. Please, if you're struggling in that way right now, reach out for help. I can promise you that there is a life beyond addiction. I wouldn't get to do what I do today. Travel the world, stay clean, be fit, be happy with the person who I am. So please don't give up on yourself. Story number 2 has to deal with the guy I used to buy all my stuff from. His name was Butter, and There was a day in July of, I think it was 2007, where I would used to always go to this rooming house to pick up. I'd hang around and I'd use, and I didn't happen to go there that day. And that night I saw his face on the news. I said, oh, geez, what did he get himself into now? And it turns out that he had been shot and killed in that very room where I used to hang out. And that over about a $250 drug debt, by the way. Just the fragility of life really exposes itself when you're in that lifestyle. The power of that drug, what people will do to get that next hit. It could be any of us at any time. Crazy things happen. So that second story, when I saw his face on the news and I heard about my buddy Troy having to run outside the apartment and flag down the police to get some paramedics up there to see if they could save poor Butter, it just brings back memories, and it just makes me realize that it easily could have been me. I could have been there. I'm a smartass. I would have said something crazy probably, even if this guy was pointing a gun at me. So I'm so glad I wasn't there. R.I.P. Butter. The guy was 23 years old. Hey, he was a plug, but he didn't deserve to go out that way. And the two guys who did that to him are serving life now. So imagine how many lives were affected by that drug that night. It is just insane. Insane, the things that we do for our addiction and the things we do to other people. And hey, if you're still watching this, I have an invitation for you. I want you to join my online community. It's called Sobriety with Kelly. We are over 150 members. We're all people who are getting sober. We're setting goals. We are getting fit, and we're kicking ass together. This community is a community for people who are done just not using, but actually want to build a life that they love so much they will protect it at all costs. So you can find the link in the description of this video and also in my bio. Okay, I'd love to see you in there. So here's the final story. This is the one where I actually got sober, and this is actually the most meaningful to me. This was the August long weekend in Canada, 2011, 2nd of August specifically. I was on a 2-day bender. My family was looking for me. My friends were looking for me. I disappeared yet again. If you've ever done that, you know exactly how that feels. When you're hiding, you're getting high, but you're not feeling good. It's just like we're just using to continue to escape the chaos that we've created for ourselves. So after a couple days of using, I kept leaving the trap house and I kept going, I'm done. I'm walking down the hill, but every time I would walk past the bank, I'd go, another 100. And I did that 3 or 4 times. See, the difference here was I wasn't going to end myself. I still had a job. I still had a car. It was not my worst rock bottom ever. So if someone tells me, hey, yeah, you have to have a worse rock bottom, that's just not the case. I was just done. And what happened afterwards, I finally told my family, look, here's where I am. Can you please come and get me? And of course they did, because they're an amazing family. And as I sat on the grass of the gas station where I was being picked up by my mom and my sister at 38 years old, I had this epiphany that came to me, and I thought to myself, Kelly, if you don't stop now, if you don't take control of your life right now, you're going to be remembered as that guy who had so much potential. He had such a great sense of humor. He had so much to offer. He was loved by so many people, but he just couldn't quit. And my God, that feeling hit me really hard. And what I knew I had to change at that point was I had to start living a life that I enjoyed, working a job that I didn't like, driving a car that was okay, but I didn't love, being, out of shape. I wasn't happy with that either. I realized that I actually had to design a life that I was proud to live. I had to kind of live as the mentor type because I have so much potential, but I was living in this, what I call the unbearable gap. You'll relate to this, between the person I was being and the person I knew I could be. I was stuck. I didn't know what to do first. And if you're in addiction like I was, I think you'll probably relate to that. You have so much potential. We all do. But if we're not living up to that potential, that becomes the worst relapse trigger of them all. Let me offer you a little advice based on my experience as I finish this one up. You have only one job in recovery, and that is to change your identity, to become the version of yourself who has a life that is so good that you refuse to sacrifice it for the life that you used to have. It sounds simple, but it's not easy. That means you have to dream, you have to set goals. I want to give you some valuable experience and tell you that You can't live a mediocre life or a just below average life and expect to stay sober. Some people hold on for quite some time, but they're miserable, and that'll eventually lead us back out to the bottle or the pipe. I'm a recovery coach, and the reason I do what I do is because I've seen way too many people in 12-step meetings get sober and get stuck. They're going to go to 7 meetings a week, 14 meetings a week, whatever it is. And inside that room, you're going to hear a different version of them than they are when they get home. Because so many of them, not all of them, so many of them aren't happy. They think sobriety is enough, but no one told them that we addicts and alcoholics, we're not satisfied with mediocre. We hate mediocre. Why do you think we drank so much and used so much? We need to be exceptional. You need to design a life that you love. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. If you want help doing that, I want you to join my community. It is, like I said, 150 members strong. We build futures in there. We set goals. We get fit. We love fitness in that community. And we do it together. We have coaching sessions every week. We have monthly challenges. We post our wins every single day. And honestly, it works. You're going to meet some of the best people that you've ever met in recovery in this community. So that's my invitation for you. The description's in the link of this video. It's also in my profile. So I'd love to see you in that community. And if you get in there, send me a DM and we'll have a conversation. Thanks for watching to the end. Like this, subscribe if you've made it to the end, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.